So tab F is information items, and we already did the auditor's entrance conference. Is that correct? Does everyone feel okay that we've done that? And we've done the county presentation of future plans. Do we need to say that anything publicly on that? No? Okay, and now that we just did the funding formula with Mr. Danny Earp. Strategic planning update. Morimoto-san? Is that appropriate?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, it's my pleasure to introduce to you, well, you already know Susan Lemke. She is the Director of Continuous Quality Improvement and Policy Analysis. And I have recently passed on the torch to Susan to lead the strategic planning efforts, so I'm going to leave to her to give the board update. Thank you.
I'm not entirely sure of the protocol, so you have in your packets, you have the summary of the update. And did this make it into the packet, Yash? Okay. Okay. So just briefly to go over the update, and if you have any questions, I've working on getting up to speed. It's been a quick transition, but we're moving along with the strategic plan. We have held, since the last meeting, a strategic planning session with the staff members, similar to the one that we held with the faculty members during the convocation period, to gather staff input and suggestions on developing strategies to fulfill our strategic objectives and move our KPIs. That was a very successful effort, and we had a really remarkably productive session. I think people came out of it feeling really good, and people worked very hard actually to put their thoughts together. So now we are going to send off the strategy recommendations that we've received from both the faculty and the staff to 4 groups that have been formed, one for each of the long-term goals in the strategic plan. Those strategies then will be vetted by these groups, and proposals will come back on which strategies the college should implement that are most likely to help us accomplish our objectives for the next several years. In the course of I know that a number of meetings have been held. Dr. Guzman, Yash, Randy, and others have met with a number of organizations in the community to gather input from various constituencies on their interests in relation to the strategic plan, to share our goals and objectives with them, and to find out ways that we could work together to accomplish mutual goals. We had a remarkably good meeting with folks who I guess I would call them service providers for the indigent community in Santa Fe, and that was on October 9th. And we have. Do they have a copy of this at all? It's not in the. Okay, all right. So we can get you the report from the meeting. But we had representatives from about a dozen organizations, including the county. And then a number of agencies, including St. Elizabeth's, and is that up there? No. Yeah. St. Elizabeth's, Food Depot, Adelante, La Familia. So a lot of these larger agencies that work with this community, and it was an incredibly positive meeting. I think that folks were extremely interested in hearing what our initiatives are, and also really working with us and thinking about ways that we can work to better serve the needs of the community. And in fact, I had a few people who were planning to attend who could not attend, and they called and were profusely apologetic that they were not able to come. So it was really nice to see how anxious folks are to work with the college to think about how we can serve this community. So we talked about a variety of possibilities, and Dr. Guzman has asked that I come and present the results of that meeting to the executive team to talk about how we could take some of these ideas that were discussed and think about, are there some ways that we can actually translate some of these things into action. And to the extent that it's appropriate, we'll look at working these into our strategic planning initiatives specifically as well. The sort of last major thing that's happening with the strategic plan is that we're working on developing a comprehensive communications plan, and Janet is heading up that initiative. We've had a couple of meetings and talking about ways. The primary focus is internal, to make sure that folks here certainly are familiar with our mission, our vision, and our
values and long-term goals.
Values, thank you, and long-term goals. And we've been doing a lot of brainstorming, thinking about ways to reach this community. And again, it's, folks play such different roles here and are in such different employment situations to really get the word out in a comprehensive way. But we really realize how important it is that folks are clearly versed in the mission of the institution, that everyone here is thinking first and foremost about why we're all here and how what they do relates to the overall mission of the institution. So that's moving along nicely as well.
Well, and I would just like to let the board know that I felt that Susan's skills were really underutilized in the testing center. And so we are hiring a lower level coordinator for the testing center. It's a very important center, but Yash and I spoke, and we want the strategic plan to be a living plan and a changing plan and a plan that the institution makes a difference with. And so we needed someone to lead it, and Susan is very ably leading that. And then Jill Carlson is leading AQIP and the continuous improvement. So I really see this year a year of much more involvement in the realization of the strategic plan and in our improvement of AQIP processes. And just this year, you've seen that we started talking about veterans, and we have a veteran center. We will be having a Native American coordinator that we'll bring in, and I think with Susan having talked with the groups that work with the indigent populations, we want to include all these populations in the facilities and in the in what we're doing with the college. So thank you, Susan.
My focus really has always been the community. I really feel that, having grown up here and having worked with indigent, the community and stuff, I just really feel really so positive and just energized by what you say, because that to me that's my population. That's my population, and I can't get away from it. I can't get away from it, because these are all people that I've grown up with and people that I know and people that have come out of it and people that are still in it, and I think the community college community, that's, we're really a strong part of that. So thank you, and continue that, to please, I think it's so important that they know, they being everyone outside of the college. Yes, we have the staff and the faculty and all, but the community, so that they really strongly feel that they're part of our familia, that they're part of who we are, because we really are. That's what we're here for. That's what, really, that's what each one of us are here for, to serve the community. And I think that's, to have it be part of our strategic plan, and oh my gosh, that's great. Thank you.
If I may make a quick comment, I've been incredibly grateful and blessed to have Susan join part of my staff. She's been doing a great job. The moment she came over, she's been taking over the strategic plan and elevated to even a higher level than I thought was possible. So I just want to publicly thank Susan for her hard work so far. Thank you.
Any other? Kathy?
On a quick note, so after the board approved the strategic plan for this year, we kind of matched board members with different ones of our goals. So when we're ready to start working on those individual goals, if you all will just communicate to us what it is that we, how we participate and engage and what the schedule is for that, that would be great.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Kim.
Yeah. Great.
I have a question, just a very quick one regarding the scorecard that I'm very in love with. Are we going to get it this year again? Is there any kind of system as to when we get it?
So, in line with the strategic plan and the long-term goals and the strategic objectives, we have developed KPIs, key performance indicators,
Right.
to see where the progress is. So it won't be exactly the same as the balanced scorecard, which was, designed against the previous strategic plan. So, yes, we do expect to continue to update and sort of keep everybody informed of the progress that the college is making.
Super, because that's
And you'll present it after each fall and spring semester, because that's where you see the changes.
yeah.
Yes, and in some cases, the measures make sense to just do a measure annually versus semester. So, not everything would be there,
Right,
but
right.
yes, overall.
Super, thank you. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We've gone over the board and CEO goals. So then we need enrollment update, enrollment information. Was that a trap?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Madam President, members of the board. We have a good enrollment report. We are up 4.8%. And that's looking at our credit hours. Our head count is up. Our FTE is up. Courses are up. And Randy actually can explain the courses better if you have a question about that. So we still have all the we still will have larger numbers than this because we have our 8-week courses that are just going to be starting next week. Mm-hmm. So I expect a probably 5% growth.
This is really not a pattern in other institutions. Why are we doing so well? Because usually it's when people don't have jobs, they come to school. But now that things are kind of settling, we still are growing. So,
well, I saw that Taos grew, CNM grew. I think the community colleges are growing. I know that NMSU lost over 5%. I'm not sure what UNM did, but I think community colleges are still growing. But I think part of this is we really are paying attention, and the whole campus is really paying attention to retention. So that, that's part of our growth. And, I can't say we've increased our dual credit, which, we've doubled it because we've taken it to the high schools. So that's another way that we've grown.
And then I think the 28 certificates that we had that we took to the Department of Education last year so that they would qualify for financial aid. I think that understanding that having something that doesn't have financial aid is not going to get large attendances. And so those 28 certificates, we'll start looking at them to see how they have increased this year in enrollment because now the students can receive financial aid.
And in fact, it's a typical pattern across the country in terms of community colleges. Community colleges now are growing for a whole range of reasons, many of them that you both have talked about.
Well, I think it's important also. The word on the street for me is, that the Santa Fe Community College is strutting their stuff. They really are, man. It's like, Janet, the information's getting out there, and people know. Hey, did you do this? I think that's That's part of it too, is to be out there and to have, to have the faces of the community out there. I mean, they talk it up, and our literature and the information, it's out there, so that's good.
Well, this one is from a week ago. It's from last Wednesday. We get them every Wednesday. And I have one from this morning. So the head count, if you look at the bottom one, the change was 78, and we have a change of 121 in just less than a week. And all of those numbers have grown, except for credit hours. We have over 2,000 credit hours, so we're at 4.81% in the FTE and the credit hours.
So I have a question. How is the head count growing in the middle of the semester? What's accounting for that? Or do you still do quite a bit of late registration?
We are still doing late registration. It's mainly been the dual credit students, but we also will be, starting next week, having a number of short-term courses.
But the increase here from 78 to 100 and some.
Oh, you mean from last week?
Yeah.
Yes, it's just getting caught up with the dual credit numbers, mainly.
One thing that I was concerned about from back in the day, again, when we were doing dual credit, was, that high school students, there are some high school students that are going to slack. And that's going to ruin their GPA when they come into the college, maybe even have them lose their lottery scholarship. And so I don't know, is there any type of extra counseling? Is there something, advisors or something that might be there for those students, either through the high school or through the college? Because I saw that as a problem back then. Is it a problem now?
I think Rebecca's been doing a lot of work with the high schools. They have done a lot of talking. I mean, they have to be approved by a counselor in the high school to be able to take the course. And I think early on they were just letting everybody in, and now they're really being selective as to who can take the classes. We still are having some of those problems, and it does impact their lottery. It impacts their grade point average. So
why aren't the high schools giving a grade which is separate from the colleges? What is it?
The college credit is what's their
It's the 12
GPA.
hours that you have to be eligible for before you can get the lottery scholarship.
Right,
And so they're getting college credit and high school credit.
right.
And so the grade is probably the same, but it's impacting their college GPA, which makes them ineligible for the lottery scholarship if they fall too low.
In the first semester.
Right.
The first semester, correct.
Yeah, they wouldn't get whatever name we have for that scholarship. What is it called?
Bridge.
Bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
the bridge.
every college has a different
Yeah.
name for it. But the bridge scholarship, that means if they've already done dual enrollment, dual credit, then they won't get the bridge scholarship, or
They may
will.
not.
No, because they're going for the lottery.
They still have to, their first semester here, even if they have come in with 30 hours, they still have to wait the 12 hours, even though that 30 hours they may have taken may impact their.
So if they got a good GPA, they will get the bridge scholarship, and then the next semester they'll start with the lottery and be ahead of themselves.
If they don't have poor grades from
Right,
the dual
no,
credit.
They got the GPA and all that, and will they get the full 4 years even if they finish? If they've already have 30 credits, they might get their degree earlier through the lottery, and will they be able to use that for their 4-year scholarship? Or
Oh, they can use it for their 4-year
Yeah.
to move on and get a bachelor's
so
degree.
they might use 1 year of lottery and then move on and get 3 years for their upper.
That was one of the benefits of the lottery, was that students would get out of school sooner, and so it would be cheaper. But we'll see.
Okay. That was always a problem, and just I'm
Yeah.
glad that we're doing something about it.
Okay, that's
And
it.
So let me just point out so that Randy can defend this. something that I worry about is that what you want to see is increase in headcount FTE credit hours, but not such an increase in courses, because then you're spending your money on the courses, okay? And so I have asked for them, and Randy says that they're counting them differently this year, and I just want to make sure, because many colleges get in trouble when they're doing well, and we're doing well, to allow too many small classes that then become very expensive. So that's a concern I have that I have asked Randy to resolve for us next month.
Yes, I'll just a quick comment. She does worry about it, and she does ask me about it every week. So we are working on it. There are a couple of things, though, that are contributed to it. We have 3 pages of classes that start next week, and they're part of that 113 course increase. Some of them are going to be canceled due to low enrollment, so some of those are going to disappear. But we've also got a couple of things going on that we didn't have in the past, and that is we have these Sun online courses where we're buying seats from other institutions that we're paying on a per student basis, but they're still in our catalog as a course. So they might have 1 person in them or 2 people in them. We're not paying the full instruction because we're paying the other institution $75 per credit hour. That's what we're doing right now per student. And so that's a course sharing kind of arrangement that we've been working on in there. And then we have a lot more of the internship and practicum type courses that we didn't have before, and they often are 1 person because the start date and the end date are based upon their job experience. So we have a lot more of those going on right now too, and then we have a lot more late starting courses.
And that's
Do you consider low enrollment?
We typically, most courses make if they have 10 or more. We would like 12. We do have a lot, a lot of areas like in the healthcare areas, 8's the maximum. So we do have a lot of courses that bring our average down because of that. We do sometimes let some of the upper division courses go because people need them to graduate. If there's too small a number, we'll switch it over to independent studies if need be.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.